Welcome to another Top 10 Worst. Today we will be talking about America's 10 worst presidents, an in-depth analysis of course. Throughout American history, the office of the president has been held by individuals whose leadership has varied widely in effectiveness, ethics, and impact. While some have been revered for their contributions, others have been widely criticized for their failures, both during their tenure and in the eyes of history. This video delves into the most controversial and often criticized U.S. presidents, examining the reasons behind their poor reputations and the lasting impact of their decisions. Number 1. James Buchanan, the president who preceded Civil War. Background: born April 23, 1791. Died June 1, 1868. Presidential term: March 4, 1857 to March 4, 1861. Vice President: John C. Breckinridge. James Buchanan is often ranked as the worst president in U.S. history. His presidency is marked by his inaction in the face of secession, his failure to address the growing divide between the North and South, and his perceived appeasement of pro-slavery factions. Buchanan's inability to prevent the Civil War and his support of the Dred Scott decision, which denied citizenship to African Americans, cemented his legacy as a deeply ineffective leader during one of the nation's most critical periods. Number 2. Andrew Johnson, the impeached Reconstruction opponent. Background: born December 29, 1808. Died July 31, 1875. Presidential term: April 15, 1865 to March 4, 1869. Vice President: none. Andrew Johnson, who assumed the presidency after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, is often criticized for his opposition to the Reconstruction policies aimed at rebuilding the South and ensuring rights for freed slaves. His leniency towards the former Confederate states and his vetoes of civil rights legislation led to his impeachment by the House of Representatives. Although he was acquitted by a single vote in the Senate, his presidency is widely regarded as a failure that set back the progress of civil rights in America. Number 3. Donald Trump, a polarizing figure in modern history. Background: born June 14, 1946. Presidential term: January 20, 2017 to January 20, 2021. Vice President: Mike Pence. Donald Trump, the only living president among the most criticized, stands out not only for his policies but also for his unprecedented approach to the presidency. His administration was marked by deep political division, 2 impeachments, and numerous legal challenges. Trump's efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election and his role in the January 6 Capitol insurrection have further tarnished his legacy. Despite these controversies, his influence on the Republican Party and American politics remained significant. Number 4. Franklin Pierce, the expansionist president who set the stage for Civil War. Background: born November 23, 1804. Died October 8, 1869. Presidential term: March 4, 1853 to March 4, 1857. Vice President: William R. King. Franklin Pierce's presidency is often criticized for his aggressive expansionist policies that exacerbated sectional tensions. His support for the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which allowed new territories to decide on the legality of slavery, led to violent conflicts known as Bleeding Kansas, and moved the nation closer to civil war. Pierce's failure to address the moral and political divides over slavery has earned him a place among America's least effective presidents. Number 5. William Henry Harrison, the president with the shortest tenure. Background: born February 9, 1773. Died April 4, 1841. Presidential term: March 4, 1841 to April 4, 1841. Vice President: John Tyler. William Henry Harrison's presidency is notable not for any actions taken, but for its brevity. Harrison died just 31 days into his term after contracting pneumonia, making his the shortest presidency in U.S. history. His death sparked a constitutional crisis regarding presidential succession, which was later resolved with the 25th Amendment. Though his time in office was too short to enact significant policies, his legacy remains a point of discussion due to the circumstances surrounding his death. Number 6. Warren G. Harding, the scandal-plagued president. Background: born November 2, 1865. Died August 2, 1923. Presidential term: March 4, 1921 to August 2, 1923. Vice President: Calvin Coolidge. Warren G. Harding's presidency is often remembered for the numerous scandals that plagued his administration. The most infamous of these was the Teapot Dome scandal, in which government officials were found guilty of accepting bribes in exchange for oil leases. Harding's administration was characterized by corruption, and although he was personally not involved in the scandals, his leadership is widely regarded as weak and ineffective. Number 7. Millard Fillmore, the compromise president who pleased no one. Background: born January 7, 1800, died March 8, 1874. Presidential term: July 9, 1850 to March 4, 1853. Vice President: none. Millard Fillmore's presidency is often criticized for his support of the Compromise of 1850, which included the controversial Fugitive Slave Act. This act required that escaped slaves be returned to their owners, even if they were found in free states, leading to significant opposition in the North. Fillmore's attempts to placate both the North and South ultimately satisfied neither, and his presidency is often viewed as ineffective in addressing the root causes of the nation's divisions. Number 8. John Tyler, the president without a party. Background: born March 29, 1790, died January 18, 1862. Presidential term: April 4, 1841 to March 4, 1845. Vice President: none. John Tyler, who became president after the death of William Henry Harrison, is notable for his departure from the Whig Party's platform after taking office. Tyler's vetoes of key Whig legislation alienated him from his party, leaving him without a clear political base. His support for states' rights and the expansion of slavery further damaged his reputation, and he is often criticized for failing to provide strong leadership during a critical period in American history. Number 9. Herbert Hoover, the Depression-era president. Background: born August 10, 1874. Died October 20, 1964. Presidential term: March 4, 1929 to March 4, 1933. Vice President: Charles Curtis. Herbert Hoover's presidency is indelibly associated with the onset of the Great Depression. Despite his background as a successful engineer and businessman, Hoover's response to the economic crisis was widely seen as inadequate. His reluctance to involve the federal government more aggressively in economic recovery efforts led to widespread suffering and the growth of Hoovervilles, shantytowns named derisively after him. Hoover's failure to address the Depression effectively has made him a symbol of presidential ineffectiveness in times of crisis. Number 10. Zachary Taylor, the reluctant leader. Background: born November 24, 1784, died July 9, 1850. Presidential term: March 4, 1849 to July 9, 1850. Vice President: Millard Fillmore. Zachary Taylor, a career military officer with little political experience, struggled during his brief presidency to navigate the complex issues of his time, particularly slavery. Although he personally opposed the expansion of slavery, he did little to address the tensions between the North and South. Taylor's sudden death after only 16 months in office left many of the nation's pressing issues unresolved, contributing to his ranking as one of the least effective presidents. Conclusion: the legacy of a U.S. president is shaped not only by their actions while in office but also by the long-term impacts of their decisions. The presidents discussed in this article are remembered for their failures to address the critical issues of their time, leading to consequences that have reverberated throughout American history. While history is often kind to those who have been misunderstood in their time, these presidents have largely been judged by posterity as examples of how leadership can falter under the weight of national challenges. Like, share, and subscribe for more Top 10 Worst. Thank you for watching.